Major League Soccer is set to start the league season this weekend, and what a year it's likely shaping up to be. A new deal with Apple TV+, rumors of an expanded playoff format, a new competition happening mid-year with Leagues Cup against all of the Mexican teams in the top division, Liga MX, extra competitions with U.S. Open Cup and Champions Cup. It's promising to be a very busy year. Well, hey, if you don't know by now, I'm Rev Brad. You're listening to the Soccer Chaplains United podcast from the Touchline. And today on the pod, I'm joined by a couple of special guests as some of the other Soccer Chaplains United MLS chaplains jump on to talk about their teams, their clubs. There might be some friendly banter, there will be a season preview, and all of it coming through our chaplain eyes. So stay tuned. We get the ball rolling right after this.
He's found the space, and he's found the back of the net.
Just a little off foot, thinking he's going to go far post. Not strong enough with his right hand.
Whips that one in. Far post, almost made him enter, they have. He has the hat-trick. The second in his career. The third of the night. The hat-trick hero.
Talked about you're not going to be able to sustain that kind of pressure.
To the corner. Goes towards the near post. And you're on the angle, and what a goal! What a goal!
Oh, man, I'm so nervous.
All right. Well, welcome to the pod, Ben Dudley and Troy Reedy, the chaplains of Major League Soccer's Portland Timbers. Joining me, Rev Brad, the volunteer chaplain for Colorado Rapids. This is our MLS 2023 preview pod. Guys, thanks for being on. And while I'm at it, let's just throw Nashville SC under the bus a little bit because their two guys, Billy and Greg, are no-shows today. So shame on them. Frustrating. Trying to get the team together. Can't do anything. Anyway.
Yeah. Negative start the season. They start negative on the table.
Yeah, I agree. They what's our going rate right now? A beer a goal? They're down. How many goals are they down? They're down 3 goals at least. A beer each.
I think their new kit with Johnny Cash, Man in Black kit might earn them some credibility. That thing's pretty sweet.
Yeah, we're going to talk preseason. We're going to talk about some of those jerseys. I'm going to throw them up here in a sec. But let's talk last year first, because I've got this little interesting infographic. Nashville actually with the 5th seed. Portland, you guys missed out on playoffs by just a point. And of course, we were 4 points behind. So but you guys strive for excellence all the time, and you missed out on the playoffs. What happened last year to you guys?
Well, Ben, what happened?
A lot happened last year to us, if you want to be honest. But I think, there's if you're following soccer at all, and you saw in the news, like there was no shortage of Portland Timbers, Portland Thorns news going on. So there's all these distractions happening around the club. But at the end of the day, like as a player, you got to show up, you got to be a professional, you got to get your job done. And we just didn't get it done. Like there was several games early in the season where we had a late lead that we gave up. And so we had 3 points go to 1 point. Multiple times. And so, if you get even one of those, it's a totally different deal. Like we're in the playoffs. And so, it's a long season and you never pin it on one match or another match. Like it's a culmination of the whole season. And I just think at the end of the day, like we didn't have as many points as another team and we didn't make playoffs. So that's my very politically correct answer in case you're wondering.
No, I think it's fair, right? I mean, you guys had so many distractions, and probably any other club that had a NWSL team tied as organically and intricately as you guys are tied to the Thorns, which makes for great entertaining soccer on the men's and women's side. But then when it goes badly for one, like the other one gets dragged into it a little bit more. There's crossover. So yeah, I mean, to miss out on playoffs by 1 point, distractions, maybe a couple of those balls bouncing the wrong way. I know for us, for Colorado, I peg it down to two things. We didn't play like we did in 2021. We didn't have the ball go the same way. We had a key injury to Jack Price, our captain. I think he missed 17, 18, 19 games. And he's just a leader on the pitch for us. And when you're missing that leadership element, kind of the central point of your spine, our two center backs, Danny Wilson, Lalas Abubakar, they struggled a bit. They weren't as cohesive. That's kind of what I peg our miss out on the playoffs. And we had such high hopes after, doing well in 21. So it was a struggle.
We definitely got the injury bug as well. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to put some balls in the back of the net and get some points. And when all your strikers are out with multiple month injuries, who's gonna score those goals? And so we were shorthanded on that front due to injuries for sure.
Well, and you guys were, because you were just minutes away from an MLS Cup win, your second, right, last year or in 21. So I think there were really high hopes. I should have gone back and listened to last year's podcast because Troy was talking smack and building up Timbers as they were going to be MLS Cup champions. This
happened, or you're saying for this year?
No, you were in the beginning of last season, you were on, and Ben couldn't make our preview pod, and here you were. You're like, guys, we're right back in it.
Are you sure that wasn't the year before when we made it?
No. Your prediction skills are lacking a little bit, Troy.
Fair enough.
Troy, you're a coach. Give your perspective on why you think Timbers missed out.
Well, I was just going to say, one, with the amount of soccer that I'm involved in, all the seasons and games really blur together to where it's kind of hard to remember exactly the situation. And I would say I'm always a little bit careful to make evaluations about, what went wrong, why did we not, because there's so many things that unless you're an insider on the staff, there's a lot of things that the public don't know and understand. And so, you can have these ideas of this is why, and they should have done this, and if they only played this guy. But I think there's so many things that we're just not aware of. And so I tend to be a little bit more cautious about providing my opinion. So that's probably even more politically correct than.
And the winner of the PC award goes to Troy Reedy.
Thank you. I've always wanted that award.
Yeah.
That's wise, guys. And even as chaplains, right, for Soccer Chaplains United, we do not criticize or critique our clubs when they make lineup formation, playing decisions, transfers, all that. And Troy, would you say just, I don't know, from your perspective, and Ben, you can chime in on this too. It seems like in MLS, stakes are, for some clubs, the stakes are getting higher and higher. The pot's getting richer and richer. The pressure's getting more and more. So a coach like Gio, who's, I think, a good coach, been successful, done well, even in an off year, you miss playoffs by one game. It feels like there's a more pressure nowadays, and like everyone has to make the playoffs. And maybe we'll get into the playoff announcement that came out a few hours ago, but Troy, speak to that maybe a little bit from the coach's perspective. Like, how much pressure do you feel now is going on in MLS just around the need to win?
I'm sure it varies by club in terms of what they deem as successful, and what internally the expectation is based upon all the factors. But yeah, for sure, I would say, just at any professional level, but certainly as MLS continues to grow in its quality and the caliber of player that is being drawn, younger players, then yeah, there with that comes less margin for error and more pressure. And so it is and I think we've all seen and have been around enough to know, even as it relates to players that we may walk alongside, you can be the hero and everyone chanting your name and in one moment, and a few weeks later it's just it can be a very different atmosphere and environment. And so I think in some ways that's our job to come alongside in recognizing, in the midst of the passion of fans and the reality is support is pretty fickle, and there are pretty big swings in terms of, hey, you just made it to MLS Cup final as a coach, and then to where maybe you feel some security, and next year you don't make playoffs, and you're talking less than a year, and now you're wondering again, how much longer do I have? So that's a long way around to say, certainly I think the pressure cooker is being turned up within the league comprehensively among coaches.
I wonder if you guys ever feel a challenge just from the sense of, as a chaplain, I care about people, right? And so I watch the pressure cooker that athletes and coaches go through. I feel like I understand it or see it a little bit, but there's a part of me that doesn't want to get caught up in all that. And I think sometimes even I'm a fan of Rapids, right? But there's a part of me that and I probably shouldn't, read Reddit, or I read the fan blog, and I see people hire out planes that say, get rid of Kroenke, or do this or do that, get rid of certain individuals at the club. And I just feel something in my gut, like, if you only knew, I don't know, am I just lame? Am I idealistic? Am I just a big-hearted guy that shouldn't even be around elite sport?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, this is professional sports, but professional sports are a business, right? So it's about making money. And if you can make a lot of money winning championships, then that's where the pressure is going to be. If you can make a lot of money and it doesn't matter if you win championships, then you're okay with it. Like, for instance, let's jump sports here and talk about the Dallas Cowboys. They make more money than any other NFL team, so the incentive for them to go all in to have to win, it just seems like they're okay being like, as long as we kind of make the playoffs, like, we're okay. Like, I know they want to win, but like, it doesn't feel like they're doing anything they can to win, right? But if you look at this last year for MLS, you had the two best teams in the league in the final. Philly and LAFC both had 67 points on the season. That's an incredible year. Like, they both played consistent all year long. I mean, in the 3 times we've been in the final, the most points we've ever had was 55, I think. So, like, it just seems like they're, at a level that a lot of teams haven't gotten to yet. Like, they were the best teams and they deserved to be in the final. And it came down to an epic battle at the end of the, what a match that was, right?
Yeah.
So I hope to see every team striving to be that competitive and that good. And I don't want to see teams run away with 67, 70 points and other teams kind of being mediocre. I'd rather every team battling for 50 points and it just be, super great league where every game is competitive. Like, that's more fun to watch, in my opinion. But
Sure.
Brad, side note, for all the Cowboy fans, Ben grew up in Dallas, and he's always kind of rebel and outlier. So he's made it his life mission to cheer for anyone except for the Cowboys.
It's true, but I didn't grow up in Dallas. I grew up in Amarillo, or as we say in Amarillo, Amarilla with an A, and go Eagles, even though we lost the Super Bowl. But again, 2 best teams in the Super Bowl, right? Great game. As a sports fan, that's what you want, right?
Yeah, I think we do. We want excellence. We want to see striving. We want to see, to use a biblical phrase, iron sharpening iron. We want to see that the competitive nature come out and people test it and go through fire.
And I'm actually okay with, let's just talk about sports here for a second. I'm okay with teams losing some games throughout the season because I think you learn from your mistakes and you get better. But like, if you take a look at college football, which I refuse to watch anymore, it's too long. I don't have 4.5 hours for anything like it. But if you don't go undefeated in college football, your season is like a failure, right? I mean, that's kind of the expectation, is you got to be undefeated. Well, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment like that. Like, I don't think you learn from being undefeated. I think you learn from battling and losing and like fixing what's wrong and then fighting and getting in and like fighting your way through. Like, so I never would expect a team in MLS to just go undefeated all year. Like, that just seems impossible. But I do enjoy like seeing teams battle and go for it and overcome obstacles to prevail and win.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Muhammad Ali said something about the fight is not lost on the pitch. It's lost in the training, the preparation for, and transitioning a little bit, you guys had the opportunity to get down with Timbers for preseason. What it looked like? What were some things that you guys saw or noticed? Was it, I mean, obviously you guys were in a warmer climate than wet Portland, but what was it like to be down in preseason with the team, just in a generalized kind of fashion for you guys?
Well, speaking of losing, Troy single-handedly beat me in every match of pickleball we played and every game of ping pong, which that one hurt worse than the pickleball because I pride myself on my ping pong ability and I blew a couple of leads, and so I have to give credit to Mr. Reedy over here for his undefeated weekend away at the desert.
Wow.
It's actually kind of amazing that we've known each other this long and we've never played ping pong against each other. And so then when I had said that there's a ping pong table, Ben's like, I'm going to beat you. And I'm like, I'm pretty good, actually. He's guarantee you I will beat you. And so I said, all right, where are we betting? And so I got myself a nice dinner out of it.
I love it. I love
it. At the casino.
Yeah.
We were looking up a place to go, and Troy's like, I really want to watch the Gonzaga basketball game. So we're like, we found this sports bar, and we drive and we pull up and literally like pull up at a casino because it was where the sports bar was. It's hilarious.
$8 steak.
Yeah.
Troy, you should have done better. You should have waited till you got back to Portland for that meal.
For sure.
Yeah.
Not $8 either.
Yeah. So what was preseason like though, being with the team? Where you guys were in California, is that right?
Yeah. Palm Desert was the Coachella Valley preseason tournament or whatever.
Who did you guys play against down there?
Well, we got to watch the match against LA Galaxy, and the Timbers looked sharp. 4-1 victory. It was fun to see. Like it was really fun to get to be around the team. We got to go to training 2 days, and then we went to the match with the team, and just seemed like a great culture. Like the way that they had it set up was really cool, like on the polo field, so the grass was really nice and just sunshine and palm trees, so it felt like a really good place for a preseason, like for the team to be together and bond, and it just seemed like the energy was really high and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would add, the spirit of the group felt really light, and they were, granted, we were there for a session before the match day, which they won, and then the day after, which is, always going to be lighter. But yeah, I think both Ben and I felt that, and maybe it's because it's preseason and you're not in the pressure yet of, back-to-back losses, and now it feels like the ceiling's falling. But yeah, it seemed like there was really good interactions among the players, and soccer tennis. We watched Gio kind of MacGyver a soccer tennis net with training poles and athletic tape that was pretty
Classic.
The players like ran into it, and this thing like stayed standing. It was like diagonal posts and the whole bit.
Nice.
Pretty awesome.
Nice. That's fun. That's good. Yeah, I know for us, we split time between Mexico and Orlando. Guys are still there, actually leaving in a day or two for Seattle, our first away game. Who do you guys have up first?
Sporting Kansas City.
Okay. Yeah, Sporting's fallen off the last few years, but be interesting. I think all these clubs are again gunning, and the pressure's on. So, I was just talking with one of our guys just before we jumped on today, and we were kind of talking about like any given day, right? Any MLS club, there's no real guarantee that someone's going to run away with league this year necessarily. There's some good teams, but Kansas City's a threat. We face Seattle. They're always dangerous at home, even though we finished above them in the standings last year. So it'll look like a good year. Let's jump to the season. Let's do a little bit of a preview now. MLS. So going on the website earlier today, they give some preseason rankings amongst the teams that we've got. Soccer Chaplains United have chaplains at. Our three teams: Timbers, Nashville, and Rapids. That's the order. You guys coming in at number 11. Here's the evaluation. It's all on Evander. You guys essentially paid the most money of any MLS club, $10 million to bring in this guy. He was last playing in Denmark, scored 50 some goals. 38 assists. That's kind of big. I can't even pronounce his Denmark team. Troy, do you know it? Is it?
I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Midland or something? I don't know. I just butchered that. Did you guys get to see Evander in action when you were down there?
We did. He scored the first of 4 goals against the Galaxy, and then I think had another one against Toronto in their next match.
So give us a little bit of a view. Like, what kind of striker forward is Evander? Is he a hold it up? Is he a run into the box, run onto a ball kind of like? Give us what kind of striker is he? Troy.
Well, I can use my, super great depth of soccer knowledge to tell you a whole lot of that I don't know. But what I can tell you is that it's preseason, and it's hard to figure out exactly until we see him get some real matches to know kind of how he's going to play within our system. But I was happy to see the ball go in the back of the net. I can tell you that much. So we're cheering for him.
Troy,
we want him to do well.
Troy, what's your insight? Is he like physical player like Holland, or is he a a different kind of? I mean, I haven't even seen the guy. I don't know him. So,
aside from the one match, that's all we've seen in terms of live action as well. So yeah, I mean, he definitely looks strong. And I would say from what we've seen so far, opportunistic, kind of that in the right place to put the ball away. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I remember when the Timbers signed Diego Valeri, and I was present for the first few trainings, and there was all the hoopla, and I remember initially like, I don't know, this guy, I don't see it. And limited amount of time to make an assessment, but Um, you, yeah, I think they're, we've now seen enough players come through that maybe were tagged as this is going to be a big time player. And it takes some time. The MLS is a unique league with, from a number of standpoints, the amount of travel. And so, um, so yeah, time will tell. But even, Santiago Moreno, who I think maybe the club expected more of when he first arrived. There was a clear bit of time with.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Diego, if you're listening, I'm absolutely sorry that Troy is so poor at his scouting skills. He couldn't see class act. I'm still waiting for my autographed Diego Valeri jersey as a gift from the Portland Timber Chaplains, but I haven't seen it in the mail yet. Have a huge man crush on him. He's a great, brilliant player, man. Oh, all right. So you guys this weekend take on Sporting. Let's look at Nashville next, even though the Nashville guys aren't on here. They are right behind you guys, ranked at number 12 in the MLS preseason ranking. Haney Mukhtar, what a guy. He just seems to be really creative, thoughtful. Nashville's made some changes. They got rid of a few guys. They've no DP spots open. So it's going to be interesting. I think we can give Greg a little bit of grief, him being a rookie chaplain this year. This will be his first year. Guys, go easy on him a little bit. I know you guys don't go easy on me, but go easy. If Haney does what he did last year, I mean, he's consistently getting 20 goals and double-digit assists, and I just think he's a real workhorse behind the team there. And knowing Gary Smith too, team usually tends to be defensively oriented. They usually put up a good wall of defense, and sometimes people are critical of that, but what's the saying? Defense wins championships. Maybe it's offense. I don't know. Depends on who the coach is.
It is. Yeah. Well, that is the first one is the saying.
Yeah. Nashville moves into the Eastern Conference, which a little disappointing for me because I don't get to see the old
Me too.
the old Rapids guys as much. Yeah.
I was hoping to enjoy a trip out to Nashville to watch the Timbers play, and it's not happening this year.
Well, maybe you save it for League's Cup because the Rapids are actually we've been put in the same group as Nashville, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. Let's pivot a little bit, talk about that before we see where the Rapids are landing preseason wise. But what do you guys think of League's Cup taking on the Liga MX teams? More games, of course. Are you guys hosting? Do you know?
I don't know. Do you
know, Ben? I
don't
know either. I don't know much about it, honestly, other than I think it's great. Like it raises the caliber of MLS. It gives us more competition. And this is my ignorance showing right here, but there's a big chunk of like July and August that just aren't scheduled with MLS games. Is that when this tournament's happening? Is that what's going on? Okay.
Yeah, it's
I knew there had to be something going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 games in the group stage. The top 2 teams from each group advance, depending on group points. And essentially, everybody kind of gets seeded against the Liga MX teams, and it's going to be interesting. I'm trying to see. Do you guys even know who's in your group?
No.
Is the group?
Yeah.
I know nothing, but I do know this.
Oh, you guys get let's see, Tigres and San Jose Earthquakes.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly what I said.
Oh, sorry. Troy.
Did you really?
No.
Oh, you're kind of cutting out, so I wasn't sure. I would have given you the benefit of the doubt, though.
I'm just glad you guys just don't know what your teams are up to.
Well, I think there's just a lot going on, and our job, Brad, is soul care. Like there's other people that worry about the schedule and what player's going to score what goals, and we're just here to, love on these guys and serve their families and serve them. And so, I can pretend to be a soccer analyst all day long. I care. I love it. It's fun. I definitely have my opinions, but I'm just rooting for them. I want them to do well, and I want them to, thrive in whether it be that competition or MLS or Open Cup. I always think, though, it's hard to know going into the season, like, is your team going to go for competing hard in all three of those tournaments, or are they prioritizing MLS and the others come second, or are they prioritizing the other and MLS comes second? Because unless you're fully healthy and you have a really deep squad, like, it's hard to make a run at all of those. And so it's going to be interesting to see, like, we won't know until kickoff of one of those matches what team we put out there, like, if we're actually going for this or if we're just getting minutes for our backup guys. Like, it's just hard to know, right?
Yeah. No. And Ben, you've said a couple of things in there that I want to pick up on. It's just, I don't know, I've been doing this volunteer chaplain thing for I think this is my 23rd season. And you just, like you said earlier, Troy, it becomes a blur after doing it for so long. And it's almost not important, although it is important, like caring about who's playing when and where, and we are here to care for people, to care for their souls, to look after their needs holistically. And so it almost doesn't matter. It's just, we just get in the rhythm of a season, and we look for those places where we can speak into or step into and care for people well. It almost doesn't matter who the opponent is. Except for July 4th.
I mean, obviously, we number one priority is to beat the Rapids.
Oh my God!
I mean, that's always
just for your own sake. That's all you care about.
It's a successful year if we beat the Rapids.
Goodness, where's my Nashville crew to back me up here?
Well, they would say the same thing. Beat the Rapids, like, as long as we beat the Rapids.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm due for a visit to you guys anyway, coming out this year. So
I don't think you guys play us here until September.
Yeah, September.
So my birthday is October 4th, so don't forget a present when you come.
Woo.
Okay.
Woo. All right. Well, let's get back into the preseason. So the Rapids, let me scroll down and see where they're at. So you guys are at 12.
Keep scrolling.
Like, when you say we're 12 or 11, they give us a 2% chance at winning the league. It's not like we're.
Oh! I found us 21.
21.
Rapids are 21 out of 29 teams. Let's see what they have to say about us. We made one of the riskiest moves of the offseason, taking winger Kevin Cabral from LA. He didn't get the job done for Galaxy. But this is what we do. We pick up players that no one wants, and sometimes they become diamonds in the rough. They become gems. So I think that's the play with Cabral. We picked up a few other players too. We got a new center back. So they're saying a playoff run is seriously possible, which is interesting at 21 when they're saying you guys at 11, Timbers, if Evander doesn't come through for you guys, nothing's really changed from a team that missed playoffs last season. I just think that's, who can put anything behind these preseason rankings? Oh, well. We shall see.
I mean, they put it out there because people want something to talk about and get excited about, and but I think the real conversation that we should be having is the new MLS kits for this year.
Ooh, good shout.
Let's be honest.
Good shout.
I think Adidas knocked it out of the park this year. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. You guys have new kit, the plaid, Portland plaid. Ponderosa, shadow green and gold come together in a plaid-clad jersey to reflect the tight-knit relationship between the club and the community. That looks decent. You guys have a star above your crest. Ooh, I like your little emblem here. I'm screen sharing for those of you who can't see. You
I
guys
see
have
that.
Yeah,
a
the
little
log
badge,
slice, that's
the
cool.
Rose City with the.
Yeah.
What's it going to take for me to get one of those timber pieces someday?
A log slice?
Yeah.
Well,
I guess you got to come.
if you want a real log slice, you're gonna have to like be born again in a different way. Grow up as an elite athlete, score a goal for the Timbers, and then you'll be holding one.
Oh my gosh.
Troy, speaking of scoring a goal for the Timbers, you have, I believe, 3 or 5 goals.
No, you're giving me too much credit. I don't have that many. It's like in the
ones or twos.
yes.
You're at least 2.
Yeah.
Because I had a poster one time that had every single Timbers goal, and I remember your name being on there at least twice.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
do you have a log slice?
I just scored 89 in preseason and other non-counting matches. Otherwise it'd be easy to count the 2 that really counted.
Well,
I did my log slice or slices went in our backyard many years ago that have now decomposed. So I should have preserved them somehow.
You were just being very Portlandish and giving back to the environment, right?
Yeah.
Which is probably why you have a plaid kit. I mean, there's a lot of plaid wearers in the Portland area. My closet consists of almost exclusively dry fit things because of the. I looked in my closet actually, and I was like, "Yep, I have nothing plaid."
It's so funny.
Well, let's look at the
when Troy and I were in Palm Springs. I was like, I heard Palm Springs is kind of nice, so like make sure you bring some dress up clothes. And he brings like golf polos, dress up shirts, like that have the Warner logo on them and Nike. And I'm like, and he brought his nice tennis shoes, not just his normal tennis shoes. He brought his nice tennis shoes.
Wow. You said dress up. That's me dressing up, my friend.
I know. He actually wore pants too. You'd be proud of him.
Well, hey guys, what do you think of the Rapids kit? It's entitled New Day.
I dig it. It's sick looking. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Keep scrolling. I want to see the rest.
It's supposed to be kind of symbols about mental health awareness.
Yeah.
And so it's like this blue with sort of a diamond or trapezoid kind of designs, triangle designs kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it's sharp.
I think it's one of the first MLS jerseys to be, designed or constructed with an artist. Co-designed by local artist Pat Milbury. First ever artist collaboration on an MLS jersey, inspired by Colorado's sunrises and sunsets, as well as the possibilities each new day brings. We've got a new jersey sponsor this year, UC Health. It's a local hospital system here in Colorado. And so I think mental health, of course, mental health's become a big issue in elite professional sport and on down. Some of these symbols are designed to evoke sort of an understanding of there is a new day. Kind of interesting, right? Like, I mean,
it looks great.
Clubs make oftentimes they make a statement via the jersey. What do you guys think of this one?
Yeah, I dig it. I think I'm probably dating myself, but wasn't there quite a stretch where like there was no sponsor on the Rapids jersey?
You aren't dating yourself. It was only a couple years back, and they went a long time without a sponsor.
Hey, we're supposed to be positive and encouraging and K-loving here, not we had our last, we went like a year, maybe 2 years without a sponsor. We had Transamerica last. We had brought in Tim Howard with some of the Transamerica dollars. So that was a good thing for us. It's great to have a sponsor again. But I don't know. I enjoy having jerseys without sponsors too.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like you're legit, original, OG, just with the club, not catering to anyone.
Yeah. You know who's got a good kit? I'm jealous. Well, I'm jealous of the color black kit. So Nashville got the black kit, and then Miami's. Have you seen Miami's? It's super cool. It's like kind of looks like hoops, but then there's a texture that almost looks like it'd be like log slices, but it's black. It's so sick, and I'm jealous because I've always thought a black jersey with the gold and green trim would just be really awesome. So I'm kind of holding out hope that if anybody listens to this podcast that could get word back to Adidas, Timbers want a black kit. Timbers fans do.
Yeah, but you guys don't have an iconic figure. I've got the Nashville kit pulled up. Johnny Cash. I mean, I don't know. Like, how would you embody Timbers black? Like, what would there be a person or a place or some part of the city or the culture that you would say it could be representative of?
We have a lot of crows.
Oh my gosh. But I mean, Johnny Cash is
so
fitting for Nashville, right?
It's great. Sure. I get it. But
I mean, Nashville's logo is a sound wave. I mean, if you look at it, most people don't realize it looks like a barbell, but
it's great.
Too bad
I
Greg's
think theirs is great.
Yeah.
LAFC's is great too. Of course, that's one of their primary colors, is the black. But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know why Miami's in like the justification for them having a black kid. I think it's just
now,
cool.
I know you guys aren't going to like this, but the Seattle Sounders and the Bruce Lee kit. Are you kidding me? Bruce Lee. That's bad. That's badass, if you don't mind me saying. It's
a stretch, Brad.
The Bruce Lee kit, and unfortunately, they have two. I am not letting my friend Tim Rogers give me any crap about that, but
no, I mean they had Jimi Hendrix one last year or 2 years ago. That one made sense. I think the Bruce Lee one's a little bit of a stretch. Like everybody talked to is like, Bruce Lee, what's his connection to Seattle? You know, like it doesn't. When you think of Seattle, you don't think Bruce Lee. I mean, I don't. Maybe I do now.
Yeah, maybe you will. Maybe this changes it for you. Of course, Seattle's gotten some flack over their sponsor. Can anyone be pleased nowadays?
Who is their sponsor?
It's Providence. Yeah, one of the health networks. I think they're Catholic based.
They sponsor the Thorns.
I didn't hear Thorns fans throwing a fit, but oh well, that's Seattle. You were saying the Inter Miami jersey is pretty sweet too.
I mean, look at can't you see that kind of like the texture in that kind of looks like for those of you who are, everyone who's listening to this and you can't see this, it's hoops across the middle, but then every other hoop has like a texture layer to it that kind of looks like a log, like the inside of a log slice.
I think they're supposed to be wings, right? Wings of the.
Oh, it doesn't look like wings to me.
They're supposed to be the wings of the. What is that?
The flamingo.
The flamingo. Yeah, they're flamingo wings. They have to be.
No.
Let's see what it says. Third way a kid.
We're spending a lot of time talking about jerseys. Austin's got a cool jersey this year.
Oh, okay. Here we go, Ben. Here we go.
Galaxy's got a good one.
La Noche features an embossed wave pattern to portray the energy of what happens on and off the field after dusk.
Okay, so Brad, earlier you're like, well, how can Portland have a black kit? Because they can make up something like this that means nothing and tie it to whatever color they want to.
Come on, they're talking the vibe of Miami. Come on. I watched Miami Vice as a kid, like when my parents weren't watching. And
I know you didn't.
The vibe of the city, what happens after dark. Sounds so scandalous.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway.
I still think you just use the crows.
I'm with Troy.
Yeah.
Crows don't inspire anyone, guys. Come on.
Crows are very smart.
Well, since we're on such a positive note, let's talk playoffs this year, 2023.
Yeah, am I getting this right that it's going to like going back, like we went from 2 games home and away to now it's a best of 3 series for the
Yeah.
what in the world?
They want to give people it's about business, right, Ben? You nailed it from the beginning. It's about business. It's about giving the teams 2 home matches. It's about, the thing that I'm struggling with, look at the gap from November 12 to November 25. Come on, who are we kidding? That's an international window. That's an international break, of course. But take a couple weeks off and let's come back to the playoffs. I think MLS has to find and has to land on a decision. You either finish, it just does, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. 2 weeks off. This is what burned us against you guys in 2021. We had like 3 weeks off because we got the number 1 seed in the West. We come into a game, you guys had a game, you'd been knocked on your rockers, and you came in and stole the game from us in the last few minutes. I just think too much a gap of time to play.
And by stole, you mean that we scored and you didn't? Because that's kind of the way I remember.
Scramble in the box. It wasn't pretty at all. It was a mistake. I mean, it wasn't like you guys were dominating the match. It wasn't that way. Let's be honest.
We were on the road playing in Colorado in the altitude, and we fought hard.
Listeners can't see the violin that I'm playing for myself or for you.
We won.
Yeah, but you guys had games. You guys were match fit, match ready.
I liked it ending before Thanksgiving last year. I thought that was awesome. Like,
me too.
But
so give us the brief rundown of how it goes, Brad.
Okay, so they're going to add a pair of single elimination wildcard matches ahead of round 1. Mm-hmm. So essentially, seeds 1 through 7 in each conference, so essentially 14 teams, are going to be in round 1. Seeds 8 through 9 in each conference will be in a playoff wildcard match. They're going to have wildcard matches October 25, 26. Mm-hmm. And then round 1 best of 3 series matches start October 28th, right before Halloween, and ending November 12th. Then, almost 2 weeks off, 12 days, 13 days. They'll start the conference semifinals and conference finals November 25th through December 3rd, and the cup finals on December 9.
So, and all of those are best of 3 series?
Yep.
Including the final?
No. Just round 1 is a best of 3.
Just round 1.
Then I think they go to
then it goes to home and away.
Yeah. And then for the final.
One final. One game. I don't know. I've been around the league enough. It's not easy, but it's never the same. It's frustrating.
It sort of depends on, that's going to cater better. If you're the better of the teams, then you want that 3 games or that 2 game series to where a fluke moment doesn't happen.
Sure.
But then, you could be on the other side and you're thinking, how are we going to win a 3 game aggregate series against that team? And then you would rather have the one-off chance of the ball bounce,
Well, and what are they going to do with, yellow card, like best of 3 and yellow cards? Will they carry over? Like
I've never heard best of 3. That's interesting.
I know it's
soccer.
It's like the NBA, except now they're like best of 7. I think it's odd, but hey, you know what? Well, they're obviously going for it. Let's see how it goes. Maybe it's awesome. Maybe at the end of the season, we're going to be like, that was the best playoffs ever. And I'm so glad they did that.
If a team wins the first 2, it's done, or it's a total.
No, it's done. It's the first team to get 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So how does that work then? Do you sell tickets for that 3rd game and then, sorry, game's not happening?
Yeah, those tickets just carry over for the next game.
That would just seem awkward. anyway, but you're right. We got to see how it plays out. I mean,
well, according to MLS rankings, you don't have to worry about it.
oh, well, I can pretty much guarantee we will not end up 21 of 29 teams because we didn't last year. So anyway, we'll see. All right. Well, let's transition one more time. Troy, sorry to leave you out of this, but we're going to play a game called Crosses with Rev with Ben Dudley. I'm going to have to invite you in on another show and do this game.
Troy, you can stay in and like feed me answers through the chat.
Well, no, Troy, you're going to stay on because you're going to laugh at Ben when this is done. And Ben, let me describe the game. All right. So imagine like balls are just being served in, and you're taking your one-time shot at a question. If a question is too difficult, you can pass. You don't get points for that. So there's going to be an either or. So I'll give you an example.
Yes or no.
Yeah. Cowboys or Eagles, right? Like
Eagles.
And you're just making a snap answer. Those are 1 point. There's a few short answer questions in here. So I've kind of designed, there's more questions than there is time. You get 1 minute and we'll see how you do. All right.
And like, who am I, like, what do I win? Who am I competing against? I need to know the rules here because I'm pretty competitive and I've already lost a lot this year to Troy and I just can't afford to lose to Rev Brad. But I will say this, if I do win somehow, I want a nickname like Rev. I want to earn like maybe it's Chap or
Chappy. We're gonna name you Chappy Dudley.
Yeah, I want something on the line here for the competition is all I'm saying.
So there's a leaderboard. It's made up of all the guests that have been on the podcast before. There's no competition against me. This is me just like
all right
letting
so I'm going for the leaderboard is what
you're going for the leaderboard.
That
right.
helps. Okay.
The leaderboard's at 23 points right now.
That seems like a lot for 1 minute.
It is. So, I mean, you've just got to be quick-witted, and we'll kind of see how this goes. All right. So,
am I allowed to call timeout?
Nope.
Am I allowed to phone a friend?
No, you can't phone a friend. I'm sorry. None of that can happen.
Game on. Let's go.
Any other questions that you got about it?
I'm good. Let's do it.
Okay. Troy, I think, I should have had you in this mix as well since you're on, and I know time is precious, but to be fair, some of these questions repeat, and I didn't want there to be sort of this advantage that you have. So the next time you come on, I guess you could sit there and take notes, but maybe I'll have to mix up the order a little bit just so that you're aware. All right. All right. Ben, you ready? I need to just get my timer set. I've got the score pad ready. Ben, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You need a preseason warm-up or anything?
I mean, that's your choice. I'm
going to add one more question to the mix, just because I think it's funny. What was that, Troy?
I said ping pong or pickleball.
Ping pong.
How did you know? I can't use that question now.
I get a point.
No points. You can't start. Okay, so Ben, I will start the timer after I finish the first question. All right? And then if I'm in the middle of asking a question when the time goes, you still get to answer it. All right?
And can I interrupt your reading the question to answer if I feel like I know where you're going?
Sure. Yeah, you can answer in advance, but it better be the right answer. Because there are some right answers here.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. I'm going to start the timer after I finish the first question. You ready?
Ready.
Left-footed or right-footed?
Left foot.
My favorite EPL team is?
Manchester United.
Dribble, pass, or shoot?
Pass.
Call or text?
Text.
Cheeseburger or black bean burger?
Cheeseburger.
Crowd or band or the digital age?
Digital age.
Acoustic or electric?
Electric.
Attend a concert or play a concert?
Play a concert.
My favorite post-game meal is?
Fish tacos.
Grilled Cheese Grill or Tabor Tavern?
Tabor Tavern.
Baylor or Fuller?
Fuller.
Positive Coaching Alliance or Free Guitars for Kids?
Free guitars for kids.
Seattle or Vancouver?
Vancouver.
Waco or Portland?
Portland.
Soccer or golf?
Golf.
My favorite comedian is
Jim Gaffigan.
Troy or Brad?
Both.
Sir Alex or Eric Ten Hag?
Sir Alex.
Nike or Adidas?
Adidas.
And that's it.
Oh man, sweet. I think I got 100.
Dude,
Wow.
you did awesome. I only had 2 more questions. It was
We
going to
ran
be
out of time.
ping pong or pickleball,
Ping
Oh,
pong. Come
which
on.
you already answered. Coffee or tea?
Well, according to Ted Lasso, tea's a bad joke, so it'd go coffee, even though I don't like either one.
All
I'm
right,
a hot chocolate guy.
I'm going to add up the points here.
So is it you had your opinion on these things, and then you guessed what you thought I was going to answer?
25 points, Ben.
Oh,
Wow.
Dudley goes into the top of the leaderboard.
Top of the leaderboard.
Boom.
You know, more so the questions are designed to stump you, or just to see like what's your heart, or who are you? You know,
Yeah.
so acoustic or electric, you know, like most people, maybe if they know you play guitar, it's like, what's your preference? Like, what would you rather do? Yeah. So that's kind of the heart of it. And not to be cheeky, or, I mean, you could have, like, some of these might have been a little bit more controversial, and maybe you go, I'll pass on that. A great answer on
golf
Troy or Brad.
Soccer.
You know?
Golf or soccer was a tricky one
Yeah.
because I'm
And
on a
there's
soccer podcast, but
There's a few that you paused on, like the Seattle Vancouver. I know, usually Timbers fans hate both of those teams because Cascadia Cup, but just a little test, like what would you rather, who would you rather, kind of thing. So, yeah.
Well, I thought you were talking about the city, and so I was like, I want to go to Vancouver.
Ooh, all right. Well, we'll see. So
I should have answered
Troy,
Troy.
this gives you a little bit of a preview because now you've got an advantage over Dudley. So I'm kind of expecting good things, although your crosses with Rev might be a little bit harder, might be a little bit more difficult, for sure.
I can help you write it if you need help.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, there might be a coach of the year versus I don't know, something
Player
else.
of the year.
Yeah. Would you rather go undefeated, or would you rather? No. I'm giving away too much. Anyway.
All right.
Well, hey guys,
That was fun.
Yeah, thanks for your time today. Let me
Great
ask.
time. Keep up the good work, Brad. You're awesome. Hope you have a great season with the Rapids this year, and thanks for all your support to all the chaplains across the country. And love you a lot, man. This is great.
Yeah, I love you guys too. And hey, why don't we do this? Troy, since you're the more priestly of all of us, why don't you, Rev Reedy, why don't you pray us out? And would you keep in mind, especially Nashville, Colorado, and Portland in your prayers as we look for the season ahead?
I will. I think you asked me last year as well. Sorry, Ben. Do you want to pray, Ben?
Reverend Troy, I'm not against praying at all. So if you need me to take one for the team, I got your back.
Although you did go to Fuller, so maybe Troy should pray.
Oh, ouch.
Ooh.
Prove him wrong.
Fuller.
Just
Prove
a
him
joke.
wrong, Chappie. Come on, Chappie.
Come on,
Dudley.
Chappie Dudley.
All right. I'll pray for us here. Let us pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord, we're so thankful for this time together to have fun and just be brothers and talk about soccer and jerseys and just having fun together. I pray, Lord, that you would be with us all this season as we serve our teams. Help us to always try to keep that right attitude of openness and that servant heart throughout the season. I pray for our new chaplains across MLS and NWSL and the college world, everyone involved with Soccer Chaplains United. Lord, just give them strength. And we just thank you for our fearless leader, Reverend Brad Kinney for all his support, and just be with his family. And we just are grateful for his love and support and his ministry to us. We are grateful for the opportunity to serve, Lord, and just keep providing the opportunity so we can be there to fill in the gaps. We pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, guys. Love
Brad.
having you on. Yeah, appreciate it. Well, you've been listening to Rev Brad, Rev Reedy, and Chappie Ben Dudley here on the From the Touchline podcast. Thank you so much, and join us again next time. We'll have another Crosses with Rev. We'll have these guys back on at another point. And Chappie, lead us out with a little bit of music, buddy. Well, thanks again to Ben Dudley and Troy Reedy for joining me on the pod today. Next week, folks, we are going to have another lesson from Lasso, lesson number 45. So join us again next week. We'll have a shorter pod for you then. Meanwhile, enjoy the kickoff to the Major League Soccer 2023 season this weekend. Our very own Colorado Rapids take on the Seattle Sounders, Portland Timbers taking on Sporting Kansas City, and Nashville SC taking on New York City FC. So we look forward to seeing you next time on the pod. Meanwhile, if you have a moment, take a minute, write us a review, give us a rating. That really helps us in the podcast apps and stores and places where you can listen to the From the Touchline podcast. Thanks again. Talk to you soon.